Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Steve Rosenfield Stand-Up Comedy Workshop Show. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. What you are going to see is a company of stand-up comedians who have trained together in a workshop conducted by the award-winning comedy director, founder of the American Comedy Institute, and author of the book Mastering Stand-Up, Steve Rosenfield. Some of the alumni from this workshop have gone on to perform on The Tonight Show, The Late Show, Gotham Comedy Live, Saturday Night Live, Conan O'Brien, Comedy Central, and they perform in the best stand-up clubs all across the United States and all over the world. And speaking of all across the United States, we have students performing from all across the United States tonight because now with our workshops online, no matter where you live, you can be a part of the American Comedy Institute and perform here with us. More about those workshops to come. I'm going to be your host tonight. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm so excited to announce that we have several comics making their stand-up comedy debut for you all tonight. So you're in for a great show. Stick around. My name's Michaela. I'm going to be your host, and yeah, it's a huge pleasure to be here and a relief. I'm back home in New York, and I've narrowly escaped Florida, the whole state. I was there for a long time. Over quarantine, I went down there to be with two wonderful people. Ladies and gentlemen, they've been married for 26 beautiful years. They've seen all 8 seasons of Dexter thrice, and they're still like a little iffy about global warming. It was Mike and Tina Fagan, just the greatest parents you could ever ask for. I love those guys. Best quarantine buddies. They do live in a 55 and over community, though. So for 6 months, I lived in a 55 and over community, and I couldn't fall asleep at night because I knew I was the only fertile woman in at least a mile. And if this became a situation where we had to repopulate the earth, there was going to be a line of old men knocking down my door. So I had to get out. I had to get out as soon as I could. But not before I established the parameters of the competition that would have ensued. Step number one, eligible driver's license to enter. That was a requirement. Then a jitterbug competition, just so I could see their style and flair and endurance. And then bocce ball to the death. I would procreate with the lone victor. So luckily for the men of that neighborhood, I am back home in New York City. I feel comfortable enough with you all to admit something else about myself. In college, I was a lesbian, and I still am because I'm not a quitter. I don't like to quit, even when things are difficult. I am still a lesbian. I have a lot of straight friends, though, but I kind of like it because I get all of their boyfriends' clothes from their failed relationships. They give it to me. Like that thick, soft flannel that he draped around her shoulders when she got chilly and thought, I could fall in love with this girl. That's mine now. I have that shirt, and it can fit a wallet in the chest pocket. It's my favorite. Sometimes they were apologetic too. They're like, "Do you want all these Hawaiian shirts?" He was going through like a weird phase. I'm like, "Oh, no, you should probably donate them to the charity Funky Dad Shirts for me. Yeah, I'll take them. Hand them over. That sounds great." I'd encourage them to date shorter men because the fit can be a problem. I am petite, but the point is I need them to break up to get the clothes, and a short king will cherish you forever. So that's the problem there. Also trying to encourage a fling with a Hasidic Jewish man because I want an unobjectionable way to get my hands on one of those sweet, double-breasted, long silk black jackets. It's called a bekishe. I looked it up. And only traditionally worn on the Shabbos. So maybe I could just borrow it for the rest of the week. Anyway, I'm still waiting on that to happen. I'm waiting on that. Growing up in the South, I was familiar with the world of child beauty pageants. They're real. They're a hot thing down there. And I really thought I wanted to be on Toddlers and Tiaras. I knew exactly what I'd want my introduction to be. The woman at whatever Wyndham Hotel ballroom would have to bring me to the stage in this manner. She'd be like, and now, coming to the stage, it's little Miss Michaela Fagan. She's got brown hair, brown eyes, and a golden heart. Her two favorite things to do are rip worms in half and eat Kraft singles straight from their individual plastic packaging. Her record's 23 slices in a row. Wow, Michaela, that's a lot of cheese. She loves her parents, her cats, and maybe Jesus, but she's skeptical. Her favorite smells are gasoline and pork. And when she grows up, she'd like to be a Radio City Rocket. Good luck with that, sweetheart. Or rich. This is little Miss Michaela. I'd come out and do a little tap dance. I could have won something. I'm mad my parents never put me in a child beauty pageant. Back to talking about gay stuff. I'm not the only queer person in my family. My aunt is gay. She has an amazing wife, and they have a great group of friends. Their names are, and I kid you not, BJ, Gail, Sue, Ellie, and Wheezy. Those are these women's real names, and I adore them, and they love to give me advice. It's just a little bit outdated. They came out in the 80s. It was a different time. So I'll come to them like, hey, guys, how long should I wait before I message this girl on TikTok? Like, just how long should I play a game here? They're like, okay, here's McKay. Here's what you're going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Step number 1, marry a man, wait 10 to 12 years. I'm like, no, I don't think marry a man. I don't want to do that. No. It's all part of the process. Okay. That's step number 1. Step number 2, at your weekly all girls poker game, go on up to your friend Debbie, give her a passionate but clumsy kiss on the side of the cheek. Wait 10 to 12 more years. It never happened. Never. Okay. Then at your goddaughter's communion, Debbie will be there. She is like family. Go on up to Debbie, kiss her full on the mouth, tell her you'd die for her, live happily ever after in secrecy, tell no one. Does that help? Like, no, but thank you so much anyway. I love you all. And I love you all. Thank you. I'm so excited to bring your first comedian to the stage. You have seen her at Flappers, the Upright Citizens Brigade, and multiple crime scenes, because she's a crime reporter. Please welcome to the stage the pessimistic Pollyanna. This is the very funny Ginny Sykes. Here she comes.
Hey, thank you, Michaela. It is so great to be here. Recently, I read that more and more parents are not raising their children to be religious because they're rational. I'm not anti-religion, but spare the children. Wait until the age of consent. I was 6 when I got sentenced to Catholic school. I remember my first time, my first mass. It's dark, smoky, figures in black robes keep scurrying by, and everybody's mumbling or chanting about eating some guy's flesh and drinking his blood. I passed out. My mother goes, "You're all right. It's just stuffy." And I was like, "No, it's just cannibals. We're surrounded." In first grade, my favorite color was red. It was every kid's favorite color. We'd get in fist fights over the red Crayola. Why red? It's the color of Jesus's blood. The vampires, the sisters, would gush about the sweet blood of our Lord. How do they know it's sweet? Because they drink it? Personally, I find the taste more oaky. I never got the red crayon. I had a weak punch. All that would be left was like black and peach. Sister Mary Tarantino was like, "Get the black. That's the color blood turns when you're dead." Did I mention I was 6? After we got our crayons, Sister passed out our "Jesus died for you" coloring books. My friends who weren't Catholic, they had coloring books with Cinderella or Barbie. And it was weird because I couldn't find a single picture of a man whipping another man who was half naked. That was my favorite picture. The worst was Holy Week. If you're not Catholic, that's the 7 days before Easter. It's very important to Catholics because it's the time when a child is introduced to torture porn with reenactments. Sweetie, can you say crucifixion? Sister Mary Tarantino, I swear she was Quentin's aunt, such a vivid storyteller. She described all the torments, the stripping, the whipping, the beating, Jesus suffered before getting nailed. It was like we were right there watching the barbs rip into our Savior's flesh. Yeah, we actually ducked when Sister shouted, "Pieces of his flesh flew into the crowd." Did I say I was 6? Kids start crying. Jeffrey Brzezinski is screaming he wants his mom. Sister goes, "Stop crying. He did this. Jesus did this for you, Jeffrey Brzezinski." And that's how we learned. We call this bloodbath Good Friday. Good, kind of an awkward Friday for Jesus. Shouldn't they have at least called it, "Holy Christ, you will not believe the shit that went down Friday"? And that's when we learned after this bloodbath, I'm sorry, that's when Sister tells us 3 days later, Jesus woke up, felt fine. So he didn't actually die for our sins. He just got the 72-hour flu for our sins. I was only 6, but I needed proof. I go home and conducted an experiment in my basement. I took my doll, Chatty Cathy, and nailed her to 2 pieces of paneling. My mom comes in and she's like, "What the, Jenny, what? Oh, right, it's Holy Week. Well, make sure you pick up the nails. I don't want the cat to step on them." But I tried to be scientific. I took Chatty Cathy off the cross, buried her, waited 3 days, never saw her again. Which brings me to the topic of unicorns, because my theme this evening is shit that ain't true. I have friends who don't just love unicorns, they think they're real, that they exist. I'm talking about adults. You're a kid, go ahead, be delusional. Life will kill your dreams soon enough. What bugs me is unicorn lovers is their blind faith. It's like a religion. They get their facts wrong. Listen up. A unicorn is just a horribly genetically mutated horse with a bone dildo jutting out of its face. Anything else born like that, you'd leave on top of a mountain to die. But my friends keep giving me unicorn gifts. Somebody gave me this stuff called unicorn snot. Lovely. It's a body gel. So I tested it. It doesn't feel like snot. It feels exactly like cum, but with magic sparkles in it. If sparkle cum were real, unicum, if you will, there's some disgusting sex acts that I might start to love. And guys, I think you'd get laid a lot more. Bottom line, I don't need a unicorn. Maybe just a guy who's hung like one. If that's you, text me. Thank you. I'm Jenny Sykes.
Ginny Sykes. Yes, and please, if you have anything like a unicorn, give her a call. Give her a call. Your next comic coming to the screen is a great friend. He is so funny and performing all the way from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Please give it up for Isa O'Neill.
Thanks, Michaela. You know, folks, a lot of things don't make sense nowadays. In just the past year, home prices have gone up over 12%. Stocks have gone up over 45%. Bitcoin has gone up over 400%. GameStop has gone up over 3,000%. And I haven't had sex once. My dog hates me. It was my 21st birthday recently, and I was really looking forward to going out and drinking legally. The day before my birthday, my dog ate my ID. The next day, he ate my birthday present, which was weed. So I had to rush him to the vet, and I missed my party. On the bright side, I'm 10 days sober. I'm excited. I recently met a girl. I like her. I think she likes me. She's the youngest girl I've met in over a year. She's 43. People ask me, "Hey Isa, we know you can't get a date, but do you have any friends?" And I say, "Thanks a lot, Mom." I actually do have friends. I called one up one time to ask her advice on how to get a date. And she said I needed something to talk to girls about, something we could relate over. So she asked me what my favorite songs were. And I said, well, my favorite song is the 2008 to present Jeopardy theme song. And my second favorite song is the 2001 to 2008 Jeopardy theme song. Because without that song, you don't have full context for the 2008 to present Jeopardy theme song. So she said, maybe you should talk about your favorite movies instead. And I said, well, my favorite movies are Predator, Predator 2, Alien, Alien versus Predator, Alien versus Predator 2, and Mamma Mia. So she said to me, Isa, I'm going to give you some advice. Become a monk. You're already celibate. You might as well get paid for it. When I was young, my father pulled me aside and he told me, Isa, there's something special about you, something unique. You need to stop it. Earlier this year, I told my dad that I was having trouble with girls my age, and he said, duh. My English professor last semester was really into Freud. He told our class that everything we do is about sex. Doing our homework, that's about sex. Emptying the dishwasher, that's about sex. Folding socks, that's about sex. Having sex, that's actually about power. I asked him one time if he could write a letter of recommendation because I was applying for an internship. And he said, why the hell not, Steve? And I said, my name's actually Isa. And he said, whatever. I asked another professor, and she told me she'd recommend that I ask someone else because she didn't remember me. And I said, no, you had me last year, first period, fall semester. And she said, oh, I do remember you. Isa. No. As you may have guessed by now, my name is Isa. That was originally my father's name, but then he changed it because it was hard to pronounce. And then he gave it to me. But he had a reason to do that. He's an asshole. So I got the internship, and I asked my boss if he was thinking of paying me. And he told me he was paying me with invaluable experience, which I could use to get a high-paying job. So then I asked him what high-paying job I could get with experience answering his emails. And he told me he'd pay me once I started providing some value to the company. And I asked him, are you implying that I provide no value to the company or yourself? And he said, I'm not implying that. I'm saying it. Recently, my brother got sent to the principal's office just for wearing a World War I era gas mask into high school. The principal told him that a gas mask wasn't necessary to prevent an infection. And he said he knew that. And the principal asked, so what, was it a political statement? And my brother said, no, it was a fashion statement. Funnily enough, the principal recommended that he see the same therapist that he recommended I see when I went to high school. I told my brother, don't go. I didn't, and I ended up great. You have been an above average audience. Thank you very much.
Isa O'Neill. I'm still thinking about the folding socks being about sex, and I've concluded only when you find two that match, because that, whoo, there is not many feelings better than that right there. Your next comic coming to the screen is making a stand-up comedy debut with ACI. We're so excited to have him on the show. Give it up all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's Jay Yoder.
Hi, yeah, so I'm Jay. My pronouns, he and him. I was an only child, so I and me, totally acceptable. I actually had to buy 2 seats on the last flight I was on, so they and them are good too. Basically, if you feed me, you can call me whatever you'd like. I'm not woke, I'm hungry. Now I am a dad. I try to be a good dad. But my father wasn't around much growing up, so I had to watch a lot of The Cosby Show. Turns out, even my fictional dad was a disappointment. Oh, you guys will love this. So the other day, my first grader got a note sent home from her teacher, and it said, Alicia has been using the F word, but she's using it appropriately. Appropriately? Like, I don't want to do my fucking math homework? I mean, is this good news or bad news? I took it as good news. Now, she is autistic, and we didn't think she'd ever speak. So to think that in the first grade, she's using fuck appropriately? Honor roll. Yeah. Now, she didn't talk till she was almost 5, and I used to have the most vivid dreams about what her first word would be. And do you know what her first word was? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm asking you. I have absolutely no idea. I'm trying to be a good dad. Definitely still a work in progress, yeah. But I did follow up with her teacher the other day, and her teacher's very sweet, little naive. And I was like, hey, Mrs. Rowland, so, how's Alicia doing with, the F word? Oh, yes, she's definitely heard it somewhere. She probably just picked it up at the mall. The mall? We're in the middle of a goddamn pandemic. If by mall, you mean the Joe Pesci gangster marathon I play in the family room while she does her homework, then yeah, the mall. Yeah, Mrs. Rowland, that makes complete sense. I mean, she sure as shit is not getting it from us. Now, all the feedback I get from her teachers has been like super helpful. It helps me get to know Alicia a little bit better, because oftentimes I would get confused. Like, I'd be talking and she would say, Daddy, stop reading with your mouth. And now I know what she meant. Dad, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Now, I don't know if your year's been like my year, but 2020 has been a mind bender, right? I mean, for most of 2020, I did not wear pants. Now, COVID taught me a lot. It taught me that I can be a tremendous sloth. Yeah, I actually had my first indoor gig last week, and I walked in and the hostess was like, oh, you're here for the show? Yeah, just head on up the stairs. I'm sorry. Did you say the stairs? Can I just sit down here and like zoom into the show? Also, I would love to see a menu. And do you mind if I take off my pants? And you know who really annoy me? The people who go around saying, I've lost weight during quarantine. Fuck you and your self-discipline. I treat my body like a credit card that I have no intention of paying off. Those stairs, the walk to the stage, bought me maybe half a Snickers bar. Let's be real. I'm gonna eat the whole damn thing, right? Now, I don't know if there's anybody else out there tonight that is also escaping their children, but for you younger couples, just a piece of advice. Before you level up, from pets and plants, just think twice, please. And don't be selfish in bed. Oh, baby, it just feels so good without a condom. I want to be closer to you. I'll just pull out. You know what they call a guy that pulls out, don't you? Daddy. Take it from a 2-time champ, right? I'm Jay. You guys have been fabulous. I look forward to seeing you again. Michaela, back to you.
Jay Yoder, stand-up comedy debut. Thanks so much, Jay. That was great. Your next comic coming to the screen, such an amazing comedian all the way from Thousand Oaks, California. She'll actually be hosting our show tomorrow night. But for right now, here she is. It's Michelle Malizaki.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm Michelle Malizaki. And people ask me, why did I want it to become a stand-up? Why? Because nobody listens to me. My kids don't even listen to me. So I told jokes to Alexa, and she said, sorry, I did not get that. That's why I'm here, talking to you, strangers in my closet. Artichoke is the worst kind of vegetables. So much work for a spoonful of meat. Americans call their loved ones by food, like honey buns, cutie pie, stud muffin, tough cookie. Isn't that a biscuit? And also, guys pee on urinal cakes. And they come in 5 flavors. I know, spiced apple cake, cherry, mango, melon cucumber, and lemon cake. Are you that hungry? I mean, I don't get it. You call your loved one by food and you pee on food. I still can't catch up with the culture. I'm a cat, and my cat sleeps all day. And usually she wakes up right before I perform on Zoom and starts meowing. What's wrong with her? And I was complaining to my neighbor, and she's like, oh, maybe your cat is concerned that you are talking to yourself in a closet. My cats worry about me. I thought she was the one who was the crazy, but I'm sorry. I am from Japan, and I am very proud of Japanese toilet seats. We have it for a long time. When I was in Japan, I've never wiped myself nor dry myself. I told that to my friend in America here, and she's like, Michelle, did you know you could clean yourself by yourself? You don't need a machine to do that? I was really proud of Japanese toilet seats. Now I have nothing. I'm a mom. I have a boy and a girl. And my daughter turned 11 recently. So I told her, oh, I'm so lucky to have a daughter and a son, because you're always gonna be my favorite daughter. And William is my favorite son. I recently joined AARP. Then I get flyers like this. All new legal tender, $2 bill for $35.95. plus $5 shipping. You get $2 bill with somebody's drawing on it for $40, and you can cancel anytime. Meaning they just gonna keep on sending you $2 bill for $40. And not just that, I got this one. Secure your financial future. Exclusive at cost offer. $50 coins for $1,800. What? Do you think when you join AARP, it's like branding yourself? Idiot. Speaking of Teddy, my favorite president is Theodore Roosevelt. And my favorite Hollywood star is Marilyn Monroe. I know they are so hard to pronounce, but okay, wait a minute. I'm gonna concentrate and say it. Theodore Roosevelt. Marilyn Monroe. Yes, I did it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. I'm Michelle Marizaki, and thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Michelle Malizaki, you're my favorite Michelle Malizaki. That's for sure. You're my favorite Michelle. Your next comic coming to the screen is making her stand-up comedy debut. So excited to have her on the show, all the way from Bushwick, Brooklyn. She's a graduate of Second City in Chicago. Give it up for Victoria Flynn.
Thank you guys. I am so happy to be here tonight. Man, has it been a year or what? Okay, but before I get going, raise your hand if you've already got your second shot. Now, raise your hand if you're ready to be a hoe this summer. See, 2021 is the year of the hoe. I mean, I am fully vaxxed, partially waxed, and ready to go. Woo! Yeah. I mean, because it has been a long year devoid of romance, intimacy, and human contact. I never thought I'd feel this way, but now when I'm on the subway, I'd give anything to feel that small pressure on my lower back again and to play my favorite game, Lady's Purse or Strange Man's Boner. But I am nervous about getting back out there because even before COVID, dating for me was kind of like the gig economy. Everyone's looking for some action. No one is hiring full-time. There are no benefits. So you have to cobble together a few part-time things just to make ends meet. And then the few that are hiring full-time, you don't want to be there. I had this guy ask me out the other week. He was the McDonald's of dudes. Greasy, surrounded by way too many teenagers, and his ice cream machine was always broken. The ice cream machine is a metaphor for his wiener. I'm in my 30s now, though, and I realize I have to take a much more serious and professional business approach to dating. So you know how everyone has a Rolodex? Well, or used to have a Rolodex, but I have a Rolodex. It's a rotating record of penises I have known and how to contact them. And sometimes I enjoy just fingering through them or thumbing through them. I don't judge. The ones I'm really serious about, I put them in my investment portfolio, a dickfolio, if you will. And I want it to be diversified, just like in business, with a combination of long-term and short-term dickfolio investments. I'll break it down for you. Long-term. This is something you don't want to touch now. You probably don't ever want to touch it. But like 10 to 15 years from now, if you're desperate enough, you may need to touch it. So you got to keep good records. Now, short-term, these are the fun ones. Kind of exciting. High risk, high reward, like day trading or taking that guy home at last call. So before I moved to New York, I lived in Chicago, and the guys there are really different. So in the Midwest, you have these tall, 6 foot plus, corn-fed, baby-faced white boys. Their uniform of choice is khaki shorts, New Balances, and whatever basketball jersey they bought back in middle school. But I'll tell you, what these Midwestern guys lack in fashion sense, they make up for in height and repressed emotion. New York guys, on the other hand, there's no way to sugarcoat this. You're short. I realized it in my third week in New York when I went to a concert at Webster Hall, and it dawned on me, holy hell, I can see. Wait, let me show you what I see when I go to a concert in the Midwest. Got it. Got the picture? Okay, cool. So New York guys, I'm not roasting you. Height isn't something you can control. It's an evolutionary defense mechanism. I mean, how else are you supposed to fit in the tin can trains and the tiny studio apartments? You have to stay compact, or fun-sized, as I like to call it. Short guys are fun. When you start dating them, you double your wardrobe. There are a lot of big differences between the Midwest and New York City. According to Midwestern law, if you are monogamous and over 22, you are required to get married and start producing children. In New York, you're legally not allowed to talk about marriage until you're barren and he's on Viagra. Time and energy, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Yeah, Victoria Flynn. You just made me so happy to live in New York. It's the land of short guys and zero commitment until you're gonna die. I love New York City. Great set. Awesome job. Your next comic coming to the screen is also making his stand-up comedy debut with the American Comedy Institute, performing live from What's Packin' Studios. His podcast is What's Packin'. Please give it up for Jack Lemmons.
Thank you, Michaela. You're killing it tonight. She's running the rundown unbelievable. But hi, everybody. I'm Jack Lemmons. I'm 25, raging alcoholic, sex addict with a master's in the art of bullshit. Oh, so I guess I'm just 25. But so I started screwing around with my ex-girlfriend, and I have access to a recording studio because I do a podcast. So after hours, we would come down here and we'd do our thing. Specifically, we'd smoke and we'd fuck. But see, the problem was it wasn't so much the fuck, it was the smoke. We would get so stoned. We'd stumble out, we'd forget, we'd lock our keys inside the studio. So we're splitting Ubers home. And, you know, being a millennial, I'm Ubering home to my parents' house, you know? So after a while, we were doing it so often, my mother, she started asking me questions. She said, Jack, you have a truck. What are you doing taking an Uber home every night? And I said, Ma, I said, listen, I'm going down to the studio. I'm smoking weed so I don't disrespect your house. And she said, listen, what do you think? Do you think I don't know what's going on? She says, I see you. I see you in the driveway kissing that crazy nut job ex-girlfriend of yours. She says, what? You don't think I know what's going on? You're such a dumb dick. You're just like your father. So not only am I 25, I'm also a dumb dick too. But I mean, has anybody been to the gym recently? Has anyone been to the gym in the pandemic? I go in there and I'm in the gym and it's just gorillas, straight gorillas. If you're in the gym right now, you're not a human, you're a gorilla. And everyone knows these guys. I mean, you see them. They show up with the Tupperware buffet. They got all their chicken and their rice patties, and they're sitting on the bench just chowing down. Am I gonna eat this fruit platter? Of course I'm gonna eat this fruit platter. And they carry on that bag, the duffel bag. They take it to every machine with them, and it has nothing in it, just steroids and a shaker bottle. And you know, listen, I'm friends with these guys. I know these guys. I work out with these guys. So every now and then you get a regular guy. He approaches. He comes up and you're like, excuse me. Can you ask Harambe if I can use the squat rack? So I said, of course. You know, I translate for him. So I look over and I say, ooh-ah! And then he comes back at me. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, Chief, sorry, that's going to be a no. But, you know, I go out with these guys after. And every time you go out with gorillas, shit always pops off. I mean, they're gorillas. They always get in shit. And I'm like, you know, I'm a chimp. So when shit comes out, the silverbacks, they run outside to play. They do their shit. I run up in my tree. I take my banana and I run up my tree. And I had them, ha, ha, and I throw some shit down. You know, because I'm not like them. I'm different. I'm a different animal. But, you know, it's crazy. The times are crazy now. Has anybody seen the new CIA recruitment commercials out? the recruiting the LGBTQT community, which I personally don't have a problem with. I think it's great. Can you imagine if you had RuPaul down in Guantanamo interviewing a terrorist, all 6'8" of her ass, full face of makeup, walking in, interviewing a radical Islamist? Here's some guy sitting there, I will not speak. I will not speak. RuPaul walks in. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What the fuck? What the fuck are you wearing? Excuse me, but Moses called. He wants his robe back. My robe? You call me Moses? Moses? Don't even get me started on that head wrap. Are you disrespecting my turban? Listen, Benny, I get you're into the whole world domination and death to America thing, but that turban is so Ayatollah 1970s. Allah, what have I done? I was promised virgins. Oh, virgins? Don't even get me started, honey. That was the longest 12 years of my life. Listen, Benny, I'll talk to you later, okay? Kisses. Oh, don't send him back. Don't send him back. Don't worry. I'm not coming back, Benny. You have Caitlin tomorrow. Used to be Bruce. Later. Well, you've all been great. You've been nicer than a raccoon with rabies, sweeter than the last text I got from my ex. And thank you for your time and energy. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.
Jack Lemmons. Thanks, Jack. And don't forget his podcast is What's Packin'. Check it out. Your next comic coming to the screen. What a wonderful lady and a great comedian performing all the way from Topeka, Kansas. It's Jay.
Hey, my friends asked, why at this age are you doing comedy? Betty White isn't going to live forever. I recently had breast reduction surgery, and I went from a double D to a B cup. For the first time, men are giving me these weird looks. I have to tell them, eyes here, eyes here, here. I know I'm a hypochondriac, and a lot of time my doctors don't take me seriously, and it makes me feel really bad. I think it would be great if there was a hospital just for hypochondriacs. You would go in and say, Doctor, oh, I have a brain tumor again. And he would say, this sounds serious. And this is your fourth one this week. I know. Do I need surgery? Chemo? No, I think we just need to stay with this current treatment. Take 2 Advil and take the rest of the week off. We were at a friend's house and she served chicken salad mixed with grapes. Oh my God, I didn't eat it. She said, you don't like my chicken salad? Is it the grapes? I don't like round things in my food. I don't like round things in my mouth. My husband was very supportive and said, yeah, I can attest to that. My husband is a neat freak. It drives him crazy when I don't roll up the garden hose properly. So last weekend, I had an epiphany. I said, I can do this. So I grabbed hold of that hose and I started rolling it up. I went once and twice, and then, it gets all twisty and the nozzle hits me in the face. And I said, you know what? Fuck this hose. That was my epiphany. As we age, nudity gets pretty weird. I saw my mom naked when she was 80. No, all hanging, sagging. Oh, I thought to myself, I'm never gonna look like that because I'm gonna exercise and stay in shape. You know what? I've learned something. You can work and exercise your ass off and it still sags. It used to just get me so angry when my friends would be bragging on how successful their kids were at school. 4.5s. My daughter is president of the class. Oh, he was state champion. Oh, congratulations. So my son was a successful businessman. By the age of 17, his business had grown so much that he was busted for selling weed. While he was in jail with hundreds of other inmates, he was chosen to be inmate of the month 7 times. Now, he was in there for a while, but he's learned his lesson. He doesn't sell weed anymore. We told him just do what the rest of us do, buy it. Peace. Love you all. This has been so fun. Good night.
Thanks, Jay. Give it up for Jay. And before our final comedian of the night, I want to say our next workshop starts on June 8th. It is also online. So no matter where you are right now, you can be a part of the American Comedy Institute next month and take classes with Steve Rosenfield from your own home. And with that said, I'm very excited to bring your final comic tonight to the stage. He is so funny, an awesome performer. Please give it up for Kevin Greenway.
Thanks, Michaela. Hey, everybody. So I was in Five Guys Burgers recently. I walked in and told the kid behind the counter that I was here to pick up an order. He asked me, he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Kevin." He immediately yells, "Kevin's in the house." It startled me a bit, but I thought, all right, this is the way it ought to be whenever I walk into any room. And just as I was about to high-five him and thank him for the respect and recognition, another guy walks up to the counter and says, "Hey, I'm here to pick up my order." The kid says, "What's your name?" He says, "Alan." And he immediately yells, "Alan's in the house." I was clearly perturbed now. I thought this was all about me. Things were going great until Alan walked in. And the kid could clearly see that my demeanor had changed. And he explained to me that he was just letting the cook know that my order was ready, that I could pick it up at the end of the counter. I was on a flight I was boarding a flight to Miami recently, and the ticket agent was scanning my ticket. After she scanned it, she looked at me and she said, "Willing and able?" I said, "Dang, girl, now?" She said, "Sir, you're seated in an exit row. Are you willing and able to perform the responsibilities that go along with sitting there?" And I went, "Oh." Well, I get on the plane and the stewardess asked me the same thing. She comes to my seat, "Willing and able?" And I began to wonder, do they ask this question to everybody? Do I look like I'm not willing and able? I mean, I know I have a gray beard, but I feel sure that I could remove an exit door in an emergency situation if need be. In a span of about 2 minutes, I went from feeling like I was George Clooney to George Burns. A survey from Match.com recently released said that the most popular age for sex among single women is 66.
I just did it. Yeah. You want to see it?
Another survey shows that single people in their 60s have the best sex lives. Is this for real? Is it a coincidence that one of the most common injuries to elderly women is broken hips? How many grandmothers were lying to us when they told us they fell?
Okay, here it is. I'll start.
Then there's 74-year-old Suzanne Summers. She said that she and her 84-year-old husband, Alan Hamill, had sex 3 times before noon. Well, apparently the thigh master that she was shilling back in the 90s worked. And can we give a shout out to her 84-year-old Superman, obviously man of steel husband? Most guys his age take 3 naps before noon. This guy's laying pipe. And then there's 83-year-old Jane Fonda. She recently said that she's no longer interested in sex. And her reason was that she's had too much. Too much sex? That's like too much money. I didn't know there was such a thing. I went down to the American Red Cross earlier last week to give blood. I sat down with the nurse. She wanted to review my health history with me. The initial questions were pretty standard: name, date, birth date, that sort of thing. And then her next question went like this: Mr. Greenway, what is your gender? I refused to answer that question. There were other questions. Are you on an antibiotic right now? No. Have you had a blood transfusion? No. In the past 3 months, have you received money, drugs, or other payment for sex? No. Wait, in the last 3 months? No. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for hanging out with us and supporting us on this Friday night.
All right, Kevin Greenway. Kevin, your facts about older people's sex has made me doubly glad I've left my parents in Florida and I'm back home. Thank you everyone so much for watching our show. We have another one tomorrow night at 8, same place, same time, Eastern Standard Time, 8 o'clock that is. And our next workshop starts on June 8th. Go to comedyinstitute.com to learn more and to sign up. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful